pull hair, and pull in a crowd. Last season, Tom Alderman visited the place that gave Bam Bam his start. It's in an old airplane hangar in New Jersey, and it's called the Monster Factory.
You are cordially invited to the School of Hard Knocks.
Guys, how's it going?
Where you will be thumped, squeezed, scrunched, thwacked, and joyfully pummeled. Under the kindly professor's tutelage.
You got it, you got to consider every time what you do, what it looks like, right.
This is where you learn how to dispense and absorb a public thrashing with style and flair at pretty boy Larry Sharpe's Monster Factory in rural New Jersey. Heroes and heels, tailor-made for the wrestling ring.
If you've never wrestled, I can't explain it to you. But to get out on the mat and grab another guy and turn him down and, like rub his face across the mat and watch a mat burn come up on it, it's a thrill because you know that you can do that to somebody. You can manhandle them.
A thrill is very nice, but these students want more than that for their $2,500 tuition. Pretty Boy projects a bright future for anyone who can display the proper antisocial zest for beating people up. To be a pro wrestler like Hulk Hogan, that's what they want. Or like his tormentor, King Kong Bundy, one of Pretty Boy's first students. Wrestling crowds had never been bigger. Good guys and bad guys never more flamboyant. There's a demand for bizarre characters like Andre the Giant and the junkyard dog who likes to play ping pong with people's heads. And Big John Studd, master of the pre-fight insult interview. Important in this game. Surely, there must be a place in these times for robust, strapping, athletic young gentlemen who don't quite seem to fit into the mainstream of professional sports. And this is the place, the wrestling ring. Wrestling has built up enormous popularity in the past few years, and it has understandably attracted just about every big, mean, nasty kid on the block. Kids who just a year or two ago wanted to be the next Refrigerator Perry now want to be the next Hulk Hogan. Well, many are called, but few are chosen. Because even in an exercise in athletic vaudeville, which is what this is, you must know your craft.
Land flat, feet flat, back flat, and stay like this. Keep your head up off the
A new crop of scholars at the Monster Factory learns how to take a fall. Some already have the knack.
Good. Okay.
Others show promise. Women's wrestling is popular, too. And still others, well, it's a little like teaching an elephant to do a pirouette.
Okay. Saw you and
Technique isn't enough, though. Pretty Boy also teaches image, being a character. Time to practice insults for Tony the Tiger and the ultimate party animal.
You're taking the tiger by the tail. We're going to be squeezing until we squeeze everything out of that tiger. Squeeze all the colors out of that dyed hair there, boy. Come and get me, if you got the guts.
Okay, and that's it from the party animal. Now we got Tony the Tiger.
I'm the one that creams people on the mat and leaves them there to hang.
The class doesn't hesitate to heckle. Tiger's pretty good at put-downs, though.
I got 9 lives. You ain't even got 1. I want him. He's going down.
Tiger certainly got his act down, but TV shtick alone won't get you in the big time.
He only sees the shell. He doesn't realize that it's what's within the shell that makes you a complete wrestler.
Tiger figures he's got what it takes both outside and inside.
I'm good.
How do you know?
Because I have personality. And I can walk around like this anytime I damn well choose. And I learned the hard way through a divorce that if you don't get the backing through somebody and you have a dream, you've got to do it. And if somebody doesn't back you that cares for you, drop them.
Then there are students at the factory with the opposite of Tiger's problem. They know how to wrestle and how to get the fans worked up. But they got an identity crisis.
You're going to have to do something dynamic in order to draw attention. You're going to look down.
Take Tony Stetson. A good-looking lad, nice hair, but dull.
Night and day. When you're riding here, when you're going home, what can you do to get their attention? What can you do to get them to stand up instead of sit down during your match?
What to do?
You know, just as long as Larry could lead me on the way of being a little more colorful or whatever. You know, maybe that's what I got to go for. I mean, you got to have this pizzazz, this... Yeah, Well, and true, another thing is my size kind of hinders me. A lot of people are looking for these monsters, you know, that they normally wouldn't see on the street. I'm just the average guy. But I also would think that would go over fairly well because people might be able to relate to a guy my size. You know what I'm saying?
More likely, they'll relate to J.T. Southern's rock and roll Beach Boy motorcyclist. J.T. says he didn't have to search for it either. It's him.
So it worked perfect because I didn't have to come up with a gimmick or something, you know, call myself Johnny the Tomato Killer or, you know, come out with a barking bulldog or anything like that. I just came out as myself, and it works perfect. You know, because I'm living what I am. I was wrestling down.
What he is a young wrestler, a few dozen pro bouts under his belt, who has to hustle promoters for work. JT's hoping his picture in a magazine centerfold will be his entree.
The whole problem is we got more guys up here now we know what to do with. You know, it's just hard to stick a new guy in there that hadn't been on TV around here.
If we look at the wall...
Over to another promoter's office when he hears of an open spot on a small-town card. JT offers to take on anyone in the promoter's stable.
Get it. Madman Leon Hines, the guy's drooling. No one has pictures like those.
Very interesting. Attractive.
Out comes the cheesecake again.
Definitely an attraction.
So see, that's why you need me Saturday night on your show.
He's a cocky kid for someone so new to the trade. Some promoters think he ought to save the big mouth until he makes the big leagues.
See my name in bright lights and main event. I don't want to see it.
You shouldn't complain about your billing when you're only fighting prelims.
So small.
Is that what's called a
Surely Pretty Boy would deem such brashness a bad attitude.
A bad attitude is if you do something and know better, you know, that I would consider a bad attitude. Sometimes he does things that he don't realize are bad for him, so it might be more like stupidity.
I've been considered by a lot of promoters to have, you know, small promoters to have a bad attitude. I give 110% in that ring. If there's 5,000 people in the auditorium or there's 50, I'll go out there and I work my butt off, you know, and I give them just what they came to see, nothing less. And when I get $50 or I get 75, or someone sent me somewhere, you know, 500 miles away and they promised me a motel room, and then at the end of the night the guy says, oh, we didn't make enough money tonight, we can't give you a room. I freak out.
Did someone say freak? Freakiness comes with the territory. Bam Bam Bigelow doesn't need to have his scalp tattooed. He's Pretty Boy's prize pupil. He's got everything. But tattoos add a nice villainous edge, and Bam Bam takes the villain's role philosophically.
See, people love to hate. And as long as they want to hate me, or I could do anything to make them hate me, then I know I'm doing my job. Because people love to hate.
Got Bam Bam Bigelow!
See? Bad guys can be popular, sort of. Bam Bam on a Philadelphia morning TV show, displaying an impish charm for a villain. It's small time, but it gives him a chance before a live crowd and be on television.
What do you think, Bernie?
Absurdly excessive pro wrestling was made for TV, and TV has made wrestling. Pretty Boy does his best to get his boys on the medium. A promoter might be watching. See why Bam Bam's so close to the big money? Amazingly light on his feet for someone weighing a fifth of a ton. You wouldn't want someone as much fun as Bam Bam to lose now, would you? A cup of coffee for the winner at the diner where his mommy works. Little Bam Bam and his mom are very close. They've seen each other through 2 marriages, hers, and 3 stretches in the slammer, his. Seems he's violence-prone, but he's still Mommy's little boy.
It was something he always promised me, and he always says, Mom, don't worry about a thing, because someday when I grow up and I make it big, I'm always going to take care of you. And I believe
Do you
this
remember
is
this conversation?
I remember not working for a long, long time. And just working, like, bouncing in the bars, hanging out in the bars, not being in shape. And then I went to jail.
And then he went to jail.
Well, just a little detour, that's all.
Yeah, but like I said, we had a lot of hard times together, and we had some
Then I got out
fun
of jail.
together.
And then I went back into jail.
But we get along very well together.
Then I got out of jail, started wrestling, and went back into jail.
But that was some bad times that we did together. We had very good times together, too.
The good times are presumably just around the corner. Money, glory, and recognition in downtown Philadelphia. Even small-time wrestlers can't help but be noticed when they've been on television.
You on that TV?
Oh, ain't that?
Oh, no, people are talking.
Bang, bang, Bigelow, yeah, and
Bang, bang, you're dead.
Who that over there?
JT Southern.
That's his wife.
And who that?
That's our child.
That's Tony the Tiger, man.
Set him up. You had him up. You should have just power drive that ball.
And who you lost the title to?
I didn't lose the title. I gave it up.
You gave it up?
Just whacked-out fans. Too bad they couldn't be promoters. Won't find any promoters at this farmer's market either. Just the usual age-old public fascination with a big man. More than any other athlete, the wrestler stands out. He's an exotic, a celebrity, even when no one's too clear what his name is.
Bam Bam.
For rookies, it's fun signing autographs. Beats being a 9-to-5er.
If you're a garbage man or a policeman or someone selling ice cream on the corner, they're not going to go home and tell their family about it. It happens. People come up and shake your hand. But, you don't sit in the car and say, wow, man, I shook 8 hands today. I signed 9 autographs. You just about worry about going to the ring that night and doing your job.
To work, then. The women wrestlers rev up a crowd at a high school gym in suburban New Jersey. An average small-town gathering that doesn't care if the results are preordained. They simply want action. And tonight, JT will be part of it. He has persuaded the harassed promoters that he's someone she can make money with.
That's number 5. Anthony Naraka and Tom Cairo against the Russians.
In the men's dressing room, the ritual selection of dancing partners. At this level, heroes and heels share the same quarters. A hero. A heel, the nose ring gives him away. Boots made for stomping heroes like JT, who has put a lot of thought into his ring attire. No image problem in here. We got wrestling cops, caveman and Hulk Hogan lookalikes, your basic masked marvel, and Bam Bam, inactive tonight, but here to root for his buddy, JT. Heroes and heels don't have to be sworn enemies.
If you're lucky, you got a friend like, Bam Bam, or, him like me, that's the guy who'll come over and make you soup or rub your back. We're just holding each other up.
Sharing small successes, like making the cover of a ring magazine. JT is big here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. He touches all the bases. Big with the guys and the girls, and the legions of hyperactive sub-teenagers who seem to be imported from the elementary school's detention room. Or maybe they all just loathe Madman Hines. Remember him from the promoter's wall? The one who drools and sneaks up on unsuspecting heroes? They're all part of the cast in this Looney Tunes operetta. And JT's a pretty fair cast member. Though it's hard when the madman can't keep up with him. As Pretty Boy says, opponents should work in rhythm.
You know what you've given them, and you know what you've got to give. And if you haven't given everything that you've got to give, and he thinks you have, then you've got a lot more to give him that he hasn't seen yet.
Wow. Finally, JT flattens Madman Hines with his special, elaborately executed killer finish. That'll teach the madman to be sloppy with his choreography. Maybe he should take a night school course at the Monster Factory. It's so satisfying to pin a man. If you think so, too, then the School of Hard Knocks is for you. Just find yourself a 400-pound partner and come on down. In New Jersey, I'm Tom Alderman for the Journal.